Today I want to talk about the rise of Hitler to power in Germany and the coming of World War II. To really understand the coming of World War II, we have to understand what's happening in Germany during World War I. World War I was devastating for Germany, and the aftermath of the war left them economically in trouble. There's a new kind of government set up once the Kaiser resigns. It's a republic. It's called the Weimar Republic. And Germany has to pay large war reparations to take care of their responsibility, as it was deemed at the end of the war, for causing World War I. This created a lot of economic problems in Germany, and ultimately the aftermath of World War I will lead to the Great Depression of the 1930s. So the bad economy in Germany was blamed on the Weimar Republic. It was blamed on those who led the Weimar Republic. Now, this will allow Adolf Hitler a way to rise to power in Germany. He offers simple solutions and answers for Germany, according to him, how they can become once again a powerful nation in Europe. And these answers are offered by following the ideas of Adolf Hitler. So to understand that, we have to take a look at who Adolf Hitler is, at least briefly. First of all, it might surprise you to know that Adolf Hitler was not German, technically. He wasn't born in Germany. He was born in Austria in 1889. He lived several years in Vienna as a struggling artist, a starving artist. He painted. He was a painter. He fancied himself a very good painter. He even applied to join the Vienna Art Academy, for which he was denied. It was here in Austria that we know Hitler was exposed to anti-Semitism, that is, anti-Jewish thinking and teaching. And he was quick to adopt this and, of course, make it his own. Following his disappointment in not being allowed to join the Art Academy, he was then moves to Munich. He moves to Munich in 1913, 1914. He identifies, in Austria they speak German. He identifies himself with Germany, a far more powerful nation than Austria at the time. And when the war begins in 1914, Hitler joins the German army. He spends 4 years in the German army on the western front of that war, where basically he serves as a runner. He took messages back and forth from the commanders to those out on the front lines and back. He was twice decorated for bravery, actually, in this role. It was a low-level role, but somewhat dangerous. Now, when the war is lost, World War I is lost, Hitler is devastated, as are many other Germans. But using his anti-Semitic thinking, he begins to blame the Jews for this loss of Germany. And in 1919, following the war, he joins a group called the German Workers' Party, and it will become renamed shortly thereafter as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or NSDAP, if you take that and put it into German, which gets the sort of nickname or acrostic of the Nazi Party. Hitler proved himself to be a powerful speaker, and he was able to grow this party into something quite large. He built the party when he joined it. He did not begin the Nazi Party, but when he joined, there was about 50 people that were members. He built it into thousands and eventually perhaps even into millions of people who would follow the Nazi teaching. Part of what he was teaching here is that Germany had been stabbed in the back by the Weimar Republic, which he said was run by Jews. Here you see a poster that's a recruiting poster for the German Workers' Party, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party. And it's asking people to sign up and do your part to join this. And notice at the bottom there is a snake. The snake has a dagger in its head. And you can't really read it there, but there are names listed coming off of that snake. Those are all members of the Weimar Republic. I think almost all of them are Jewish leaders of that party. Now Hitler will try to lead a coup, that is a takeover, of Germany in a radical way in November of 1923 out of Munich in what's called the Beer Hall Putsch. Following this, which was unsuccessful, Hitler was put into jail. And it was here that he writes a work that, of course, he'll become famous for or infamous for, and that is called Mein Kampf, which means my struggle. And in it, he will list his ideas, and Hitler's going to change his tactic. Instead of doing a sort of radical overthrow of the German government, he's going to use the democracy of Germany to come to power. So here's some of the basic teachings of Adolf Hitler. First of all, as set forth in Mein Kampf, first of all, you have to understand he believed Jews were the source of all evil. All the problems of Germany could be traced back to Jewish people, to the Jews taking over Germany. He believed that the Jews didn't have their own country, and so they would come and take over other countries. He said that these Jews controlled the Weimar Republic, and interestingly, he says they also control the Communist Party, which are sort of two opposite things, politically speaking. But of course, remember, Karl Marx was Jewish. And so Hitler sees a kind of conspiracy of Jews, whether they are capitalists and very wealthy bankers and so forth, or whether they're communists. It's all controlled by the Jews, and it's all, in his idea, a part of a plan where the Jews are going to take over not only Germany, but the entire world. He believed that the Aryan race was superior to all other races. And of course, this was the pure stock of the German people. He also taught in this book that the Aryan race and Germany was in a life and death struggle with the Jews. So this is his number one point. Jews are the source of all the problems that they have. Number two, the second point, is he had a kind of romantic idea. By that I mean Romanticism, which was prevalent in the 19th century. He was going to promote that. This is the idea that rural life is better than urban life. Of course, this fit his model because the rural people were the good Aryan stock, the hard-working German people out in the countryside. And of course, in the city is where you have the corruption, where you have the influence of Jews and so forth. And he taught that Germany, really the problem was Germany had been growing and the cities had been growing, and what they really needed was living space, or Lebensraum. This is what Germany needed. Where are we going to get that, he would say? Germany is going to get that by taking over Eastern Europe. The land from Eastern Europe would be the source of this extra land. He believed not only that Jews were inferior, but he thought many others were too, anyone who wasn't Aryan. And so Slavic people, the people who lived in Eastern Europe, he believed were also inferior and should be taken over. So the first point is about the Jews, the source of all evil. Second is this sort of exaltation of rural life. And the third point would be the idea that Germany needs a very strong leader, a Führer, to solve all the problems of Germany. So this then is the beginning of Hitler's control and his basic ideas, what led him to power.